Hi, I'm Miss Holt and I teach A-level chemistry at Scarborough UTC. I have a master's degree in chemistry with medicinal chemistry. What that means is my specialism is the medicinal side of chemistry, so the design of drugs, things like cancer research treatments. That's what I specialised in my master's. I've been a teacher now for over 4 years. I've taught A-level chemistry, some applied science courses during that time, but I've always been teaching sixth form. The reason I love chemistry, and the reason I hope you love chemistry if you're deciding to join us for sixth form with chemistry, is that I think there is a fundamental pattern that weaves everything in life together, and chemistry is the study of how that happens at the atomic level, which I've always loved. And my specialism went on and looked at how our body responds to drugs, or how the brain can interact differently with chemicals. So I'm really passionate about my subject, and I hope that I pass that on to you as I teach you. I've got a PowerPoint here to show you some more information, but this is my face in case you were wondering what I looked like. A-level chemistry, that's the course we're going to talk about here. We teach AQA, A-level chemistry, at Scarborough UTC. It is the most common and the best, in my opinion, type of A-level for chemistry. Now, the specification, so I do have the link on the slide here in case you wonder, but you can just Google A-level specification, A-level chemistry. On the left-hand side here, you can see the subject content. Now, in A-level chemistry, everything is separated into 3 different sections. So we have physical, inorganic, and organic chemistry. And at GCSE, you don't make those separations. It's not something we talk about. When I spoke about how my specialism is about the medicinal side, that is a type of organic chemistry. And we'll go into what they are when you do the course a bit more in depth, but basically physical is any of the mathematical section to do with chemistry. Inorganic is to do with how ions can be colourful, and organic is anything that is carbon-based chemistry. Now, the way I teach is a spiral curriculum. What I mean by that is I will teach you one topic in physical, then one topic in inorganic, one topic in organic, and then come back to physical. And what that means is you can revisit content every month or two to make sure that you don't forget the content you've been through, but you also build up on those skills, which I think is a much, much better way for A-level chemistry to be taught. We have in chemistry 12 required practicals. We will do more practicals than this, but 12 of them are the ones you have to do in order to get your CPAC qualification. Now, CPAC is the teacher assessed part of the course. You will do practicals and you will write them up in a lab book and show all of the practical skills that you require for a CPAC. So at the bottom here I do have an image of one of my students' books. I realise it's quite small, but you can see she's got the instructions on one side, and then you can see on the right hand page she has all of her notes. It's fairly simple. We go through it and you build up your skills throughout the 2 years of the course. How you are assessed other than the CPAC, at the end of your year 13 you will have 3 papers. You have paper 1 is 35% of your A-level, so is paper 2, and then paper 3 is 30%. Paper 3 has any content on it and any practical skills, but some of it is 30 marks, but it's multiple choice questions, whereas paper 1 and paper 2 have distinct topics that they're going to ask about. But you can see that the practical skills are written into every single paper. Okay, so this all comes at the end of year 13. We will do mocks at the end of year 12 and frequently every lesson look at past paper questions. So how you're taught, you'll have 5 lessons a week, and then you expect to do 5 hours of independent work. You will be taught in the chemistry lab. This is a little video of the chemistry lab at Scarborough UTC, because we don't have open evenings happening at the moment. So you can see that we have quite a large room. We have a lot of equipment. Periodic table is a must, obviously. We do have in the science department at the Scarborough UTC some of the best equipment in the county. We have things like a full working fume cupboard. We have many burettes and pipettes and crystallization dishes. This here is a drying facility, so you can make your or an incubator, so you can make your subjects really dry. This is another one as well, which isn't equipment you usually find in colleges. They're usually equipment you find at university levels. That's our fume cupboard there. You have to do some of your required practicals in the fume cupboard because some of the fumes that come off are toxic if you breathe them in. So this is where you will be you'll be learning. This is what I will teach you in this classroom. Now, in the COVID-19 lockdown, what we have had instead, because we haven't been able to do it normally, is we've had 3 hours a week of a live lesson on Google Meets where we've been able to, I've been able to give feedback on their work, they've been able to ask me questions, I've been able to teach new content, and they've had 7 hours a week of independent work. But they've been given time slots to contact me for anything they might need, for any problems they're having. And there's also the opportunity happening about now when lockdown's being eased for them to come and do practicals, because the practicals are obviously the thing that you can't do from a distance. But wanted to sort of reassure you that in these times where things are uncertain, we have managed at the UTC to get a real good teaching quality happening during lockdown. And the only thing that suffers is the idea that we of practicals. But we are being able to do that now. So support. So I said that you have to do independent work. Now a lot of that will be directed by me in the form of me giving you assignments. And when you're working by yourself, you want all the support you can get. We will provide you with these 2 books here. So you will get your own A-level chemistry CGP revision guide, as well as the workbook. So we will provide them to you and they're yours. We use the textbooks from Caboodle, which are just here. Now we have these in the college, and we are happy to, if you want to borrow them, for you to have them and take them home, as long as we get them back at the end of year 13. But you have they have an online textbook, they have online resources for you, so that's all there for you as well. I put all of my classroom resources onto our Google Classroom for you to be able to access, including things on required practicals, revision tools, any assignments I give you will be on there. So all of that is available for you to use. I also recommend there are set websites, for example, ChemGuide, that are really good websites to help you if you're struggling with anything. So there's lots of support you can get here. Here's an example of if we're all in college and we're learning the type of lesson that I might teach. This is a lesson I taught to my year 13s before lockdown happened. This is a subject in organic chemistry. So I usually start my lesson off with a bit of recall from the previous lesson. So that's what those questions are there. And then we'll relate something back to a past paper question, just to make sure that that's 2 topics I've brought back into that lesson and we can make sure we remember it all. The mark schemes are really important. I have been an examiner for GCSE chemistry, and the importance of knowing a mark scheme can't be understated, so I will always show you the mark scheme so that you can learn that language as well. Then I will teach you something new that adds on to the previous lesson. I use this example because hopefully from GCSE you can recognise some of the images here of alkenes. There's a lot of stuff we learn at A-level that takes things from GCSE and just expands and goes in a lot more detail. So after I taught you something new, we'll go through some definitions if we need to. You will then do a task where you will practice putting that into place, and then we'll relate it to a past paper question. Okay, and that's fundamentally the sort of pattern that all of my lessons take. So we'll recap something we did last lesson, we'll just remember something from a different topic, here's something new, let's practice it. That's the fundamental basis of my lessons. In lockdown on Google Classroom, this is what my lessons have looked like. So this is one about titration and buffer calculations. Because this is a calculation topic, you can see that I've put 3 videos together where you can see my hand physically working through the calculations step by step by step, just like we would do in lessons. And then you have just had to practice some of them on some practice questions, and then some PPQ or past paper questions on each topic. And then what would happen is students would submit that to me by the deadline. I will then, I've physically printed off their work and I have annotated it, whether it's correct or not, and then scan it back in and send it to you. So that feedback that you depend on a lot in lessons has still been there in lockdown. So feel free, if you've got any questions, to contact me. That's my email address at the bottom. I should mention that one of the beautiful things about learning at Scarborough UTC is the fact that we have really small classroom sizes. So my year 13s were a group of 3. I think the largest science class we've had is something like 5. So you get this feedback I was talking about, you get it really in depth. Thank you very much and look forward to seeing you soon.